Today is Monday, May the 15th, 2023. This is the regular session of the School Board Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6 o'clock. The place of the School of East Chicago Administration Building is 1401 East 144th Street in East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. This is also being shown via live stream at www.scec.k12.in.us. This is the meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation business and is not to be considered a public meeting, a public community meeting. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Present.
Trustee Smith?
Present.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Present.
Trustee Gibson King?
Present.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Present via Zoom.
Via Zoom. Okay.
Can you please just make sure we note that Trustee Rodriguez and Trustee Gomez are both
On
via-
Zoom.
Yes.
On Zoom. Thank you, Trustee Orange.
Madam Chairman, so I guess Diane, Trustee Patty Joe Gibson King would be Chairman King for this meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3.01, approval of the agenda. Yeah. Are there any public comments about the approval of the agenda? Okay, hear none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam President, Chairman, I make a motion for approval.
Okay, a motion made by Trustee Diane Smith. Is there a second?
Madam Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Second by President Joel Rodriguez. Do we have any questions? Okay, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay, item 4 is the awards, 4.01, iRead Student Recognition Award. Do we have any comments? Okay, Ms. Ambrego, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We do have some awards today. We have awards for our elementary students, our middle school students, high school students, and some of our retirees. So we're going to start with the iRead Student Recognition Awards, and we're going to have our elementary director, Ms. Gutierrez, and maybe some of the principals help. So Ms. Gutierrez, if you could help us with the iRead Student Recognition Awards.
Absolutely.
Good evening, board, family, and friends. We are pleased to have the opportunity to recognize 4 of our third grade students who scored a perfect on the state iRead test. I am very proud of the hard work.
Green button. There you go.
I'm very proud of the hard work and dedication on the part of the students and teachers. As we continue to strive for excellence in education, we want to celebrate our current achievements. I'm going to ask if the teacher and/or principal are in attendance, if they would please join me for the announcement. And we'll start first with McKinley.
Good, it's on.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Rashida Green. I am the proud principal of McKinley Elementary, and I am so excited to present the certificate of special recognition to Mr. Diego Acosta. Come on down, Diego. Mom, Dad. Come on, Mom and Dad.
If I can now have Harrison.
All right, from Harrison, we are very proud to honor this evening with a perfect IREAD 3 score, Victoria Nares Reyes.
Good evening, everyone. I am the principal at Lincoln School, Mrs. Gonzalez, and I brought my assistant principal, Shannon Davis, because we were blessed to have 2 students in our school to score 100 in the same class with Miss Ambrose, our teacher. I think that says a lot for Miss Ambrose. Come on up, Miss Ambrose.
Oh, boy.
This certifies the special recognition that Mackenzie Rogers, unfortunately, who could not be with us, had a perfect score on IREAD. So let us give her a hand. I will let my assistant principal do the next one.
All right, so the other student at Lincoln Elementary that was able to score a perfect score on the IREAD 3 is Blake Harris.
Amen, amen. He wants them balloons.
I'll get the next one too. Thank you very much, Ms. Gutierrez, and we want to continue recognizing our students. Our next group of students will be from the middle school and the high school. The middle school is next.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call up Ms. Quiroga to introduce our 2 middle school scholars. Thank you, Ms. Andres. And I have the certificate.
A la derecha.
Right.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and it's a pleasure to announce and recognize our 2 top students at Block Middle School, and they gave me a little bio, so I'm going to have to read it, you know. So this is Diane Pelayo, if you can come up with your mom. Was born in Hammond, moved to East Chicago, first grade, is bilingual, both in Spanish and English. Because both her parents are born in Mexico, she has never visited Mexico, but she would like to do in the future. Her two favorite subjects in school are science and Spanish, and she enjoys all subjects. Dan intends to attend four-year university, but hasn't decided where yet. She's interested in and will be first graduate. Anesthesiologist, am I saying it correctly? Anesthesiologist, okay, great. And she wants to get a bachelor's degree in that. And Diana will attend Central High School next year. Yes, and she is a 4.0 at Block Middle School. She's our #1 student. Congratulations, Ms. Palayo. And I do have a medal for her for the honor roll. She's our #1 student at Block Middle School.
All right.
My next student is Layla Butler. I don't know if she made it or not, but I'm going to talk about her anyway. So anyway, Layla was born in Wisconsin, moved to Alabama, first grade, then East Chicago, fourth grade. She still has family both in these states, both in Louisiana, but would really love to travel to New Zealand one day. Her two favorite subjects in school are English and science. Her toughest subject is Spanish. Imagine that. Layla intends to go to a four-year university, possibly University of Indiana, and pursues a career in veterinary medicine. She'll be attending Central High School next year. She's also #2, and she also has close to a 4.0 average. They're excellent students. I'm so proud of both you guys. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to take a moment to recognize 3 outstanding scholars at the high school. The first student I'd like to recognize is Aurelie Aguilar. Aurelie, come on up. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Aurelie is one of 6 students in the entire Lake County that was selected for the Lilly Endowment Community Scholarship. I'm sure you've seen her billboard.
Yes.
This award entitles her to 4 years of free tuition. Her involvement throughout East Chicago is she volunteered in church and community events, such as food pantries and community cleanups. She is captain of the cross-country team. She's participated in soccer, track, swimming, JORTC, color guard, unified flag football. She even sings. She is the co-president of the National Honor Society, treasurer of student government, and secretary of speech and debate. She plans to major in political science, and she wants to attend law school. She intends to give back to the East Chicago community by improving health care to low-income families and undocumented citizens of Indiana. Please give me a great big round of applause for Aurelie. Oh, yeah. You want to stand on my other side? Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's nice.
Thank you, Aurelie. Are your parents here? Okay. Well, we thank them as well. Congratulate them. The second scholar I'd like to call up is Isidro Guadarrama Ria. Did I say that right? Guadarrama Ria, yes. Okay, so Isidro, yeah, stay up here. It's all about you, my friend. You deserve this. Okay, so he is our salutatorian this year with a 4.51 GPA, but he's being recognized tonight. This is outstanding, right? For his outstanding AP performance, he took 6 AP exams and passed all 6 exams. Amazing. He actually scored a 5 out of 5 on 5 and won 4. That's incredible. Yes. So this classifies him as an AP scholar with distinction. He plans on attending Columbia University in New York City, majoring in biochemistry on the pre-med track. Let's give him a round of applause. And the last scholar I'd like to recognize is Lizzie Mendoza. Lizzie is our valedictorian this year with a 4.56 GPA. She is the co-president of the National Honor Society, chapter of East Chicago Central High School, captain of the varsity softball football team, and vice president of the EC Spanish Club. She is the valedictorian of the 2023, and in the fall, she will attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with a major in biochemistry. She aims to attend dental school and open her own practice someday in East Chicago. I added that. Congratulations. Let's give it one big round of applause for these amazing scholars. Thank you.
Good, we have one more group we'd like to recognize, and those are going to be the individuals that will be retiring from our school system this year. We have 8 individuals. They are Margarita Vela, Serena Diantes, Evangeline Miller, Elizabeth Damjanovich, Martha Leal, Elaine Myers, Arthur Okerstrom, and Nelida Kresich. And I believe we have maybe a few here today. Do we have any of the retirees present? I believe, is that Evangeline Miller? Evangeline, come on up here.
Hey.
You gonna retire?
You retired.
And each of our retirees is going to be receiving this beautiful plaque, and it says, presented to Evangeline Miller. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication throughout your many years of service in the maintenance department. You will be missed from the School City of Chicago Board of Trustees. He doesn't want to say anything. Okay, if I'm correct, that concludes our awards presentation. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrego. The next item is the consent agenda. Are there any comments from the public?
Madam President, I would just like to say one thing.
Yes.
On the personnel item, I just want to make it clear, there was one little error on item 6623 and 6583, and the person was listed as a teacher, but in reality, it's a para, so we want to make sure that when you vote, you understand that that is the change. We've already corrected it, but I wanted to make it clear for you to hear today.
You said which items now?
It was 6623 and 6583.
Let me see which ones.
It's the same person. Again, she was listed as a teacher, but in reality, she's a paraprofessional.
Oh, okay. What is it, 6623, 66, and what else, what other number? 6583.
So when we make the approval, you're asking for approval with the correction of the title?
Yes.
Right, yes.
Yes.
So there are no comments from the audience. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the amended agenda, consent agenda.
Motion approved by President Rodriguez. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Trustee Smith. Any questions from the board?
Madam President, I have a couple of questions. And they're going to be on your claim docket. So first and foremost, we received documents from Mr. Peña with, I guess, the bills that are being paid on this docket, correct? So, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Lindsay's, it was on here on the payment, but I did not see it on the actual claim. Am I correct in saying that? Or maybe it was supposed to, I didn't see it. It's not on the docket, but it's in, no, but it's in the, right, so just FYI, for, if it's not on there, I just want to make sure that for the next meeting, we end up putting it on there. Also, there was a couple questions I had from the docket, and one of them being item, this is on page, check number 112753. One, two, 7, 5, 3. Wait, that's wrong.
You say 1127?
No, I'm sorry. 112759. So the luncheon, where was this location at? Who was this for? I saw the receipt, but who was it for? For the administration building, okay. The next item was 112803. And that's on page. Then,
It's on page 10, you said?
yes. So I just want to make sure that when we're receiving these items for not only just the details of the, I want to make sure that we're actually, like, when you look at the amount of what some of this stuff is, we're paying the very, and I don't know if it's because the item is an older item that we're actually having an issue with or that they're fixing. So it's pretty expensive. Page 10. Page 10. So like routine items that are getting fixed, they're costing us a good amount. So I just want us to be mindful of that with these contractors. I think the last one is 289. 112789, and that's on page 12. And that was not on our documents, but I just wanted to know how this came to be. I asked the attorney, we were trying to figure it out, but 112789. Right, because it wasn't on there. So I do ask for it to be removed from our actual agenda, from the claim docket, until we get some more information. In regards to this is the first time this has come up. So it's 112789. It's not in our documents as to what we're paying. So if you could just let us know, that would be right. But I'm asking for the motion to actually state that the removal of item 112789. So can I make a secondary motion stating that we approve the agenda item with the correction of what needed to be corrected for the personnel report, also with removing check number 112789?
Is there a second on this motion? Second. Second by trustee Smith. Any comments?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Secretary.
did I hear that number correctly, 112789?
Yes.
Yes.
And what is the issue there?
I'm not sure why we're actually paying this out. There's no documents to support it.
Is someone there that can address the issue? It looks like it falls under the fund state Medicaid.
On state Medicaid.
No, I agree, but again, this is the first time that this has came up in our claim dockets, one. Two, I'm not sure why it's a reimbursement. So I just want
I
light.
understand your point.
I'm sorry?
I understand your point.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, is there someone there that might be able to address this?
Can I shed some light?
Yes, Mr. Rego.
I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this, but I believe it was Teacher Appreciation Week, and we had something here at the administration for our administrators. In token of their appreciation, we paid for a breakfast.
That's not it.
That wasn't it?
No.
Oh, okay.
The reason why you're not supposed to, I know what it is, but I don't know why we're paying it. So that's the reason why I'm asking. This is a brand-new item. We usually have documentation. We don't have any. That's why I'm asking.
Madam President,
That's fine.
Yes, President Joel.
again, with
Chairman.
regards to 112789, reimbursements expense usually falls under either travel, mileage, or meals. But in this case, it doesn't say what it's for, other than the fact that it's under Fund 325.0, which is a state Medicaid. So, this is my first time seeing this, so.
Madam Chairman? Madam Chairman?
Yes,
Yes, if you look at the top of the next page, page 13, that's the exact same total coming out of the same fund, and it has a description there. So this may have been a run over from one page to the other.
Gotcha.
It's what I mean,
yeah, purchase for a meeting with principals.
No.
yeah.
It says that with the same amount of money, 200 and some quite.
Oh, so if that's the case, then this shouldn't be out of this fund then, if it's a state Medicaid.
Right here. What page it's on page 13.
So we have a motion on the floor. Can we move forward, or are we still waiting?
Yeah, we got a motion on the floor. Is there any more comments?
Yes. Regarding personnel,
On the motion on this motion?
still on that?
Yes. Yeah, we still on that. If there are no more comments, roll call, Mrs. Bigham.
Madam Chairman? Madam Chairman, I do have a
Yes,
question.
yes,
Sorry.
Secretary Gomez.
Yeah, so I take it no one's there from the Finance Department?
Yeah, someone's here, Mr. Pena's here, but I don't know if he's able to expound on this. Are you? No, I'm talking about, wait a minute, what page? Page 12. You on page 12? I'm sorry.
Madam Chairman, if I could interject, and
Yes,
this is
yes,
for the benefit
Mr.
of
Harris,
Trustee
please.
Gomez, too.
Please.
I think Finance isn't completely sure what the background of this is, and as I look at that section, it looks as though there may be just a Scrivener's error. There is some kind of problem with the entry. Either it's coded to come out of the wrong fund, which is state Medicaid, or something else. You just can't necessarily tell. If it's a reimbursement for the description that's here, which is this purchase for the meeting with the principals, that's fine. I don't think there'd be any issue with it. It just appears as though it's coming out of the wrong fund, or it's just strange that it would be coming from that fund. So, I mean, I would recommend removing that as well, just so that you can clear it up, and so you don't have a State Board of Accounts issue later.
Thank you.
Are there any more remarks?
Is someone going to answer that from the Finance Department, or?
Oh,
She just said.
I was kind of jumping in because he said, you couldn't hear him, but he said he would have to look it up. He didn't have the background information. Yeah.
And second to that, I guess this is related to that. Mr. Pena has been good about getting us documentation. I'd like further documentation on check number 3985 double D. And that's, you'll find that on the top of page 6, under the operations fund.
Page 6.
Other than that, I don't have any other questions.
Oh,
I can give you a little bit of information just to kind of satisfy your curiosity right now.
No, I really would like to see something in writing.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
Patty
Yes,
Gibson
Trustee
King.
Rodriguez.
Chairman Gibson King, sorry.
Yes.
We actually have that documentation already in our packet from Mr. Pena, just FYI.
Are there any more remarks from the board here?
Yes. I just have one.
Yes, yes, make a motion.
Yes, we're still in the motion.
I just want to make sure that your comments are just on this motion still. We haven't taken a vote on it. Yep.
Going back and forth, okay? We need a motion.
No, we have a motion. It's a secondary motion.
Right.
Right, and we have not voted yet.
Yeah, we haven't voted on it yet, but we're getting ready to. Diane Bickham, roll call, please.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes,
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes, and I just want to clarify, this is for the removal of that item as well as the correction of the personnel. Yes.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
All right, so just so we're clear where we are procedurally, we have amended the consent agenda. So now you would need a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended. And I believe that Trustee Smith had some comments that she wanted to make.
Well, this is not pertaining to the consent agenda. This is pertaining to just personnel. Well, basically, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's in it.
We have this problem all the time. This was just pertaining to just a legal question. I know that Mr. Pena is our interim CFO. Just legally, I just want to know, even though that our CFO is on administrative leave, Dr. Brago, and I know that in your statement that you said that you were keeping in contact with her on call or whatever that was in your email. So I'm just trying to find out legally, I received a reimbursement check May 2nd of 23, and the CFO that is on administrative leave, is that legally for her to still sign checks? Is that legal?
Attorney Harris, can you help us with that? I think we're just using the same process we used in the past.
Yes, so I understand that the CFO is on administrative leave. I think the process that we're referring to is electronic. And since it's just administrative leave and there's not been a permanent decision on her employment, using that electronic signature as part of the normal course of business is still okay. Obviously, if she's separated from employment, that's a different story. But for now, it would be unduly burdensome to switch that signature and probably somewhat inappropriate to do it when she's still employed and still has that position.
I just wanted to make sure that it was legal, because it is an electronic signature, and I wouldn't want anything to go bouncing or being returned because we're not following process. That was just my question. And to make sure that we be very, very careful now with the interim to make sure that we don't have any of these problems, like, have to then amend, because State Board of Accounts will see this, so I just need everybody to be on point. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Any public comments on the amended consent agenda? Yes. Yes, you do. Okay, no questions. Is there a motion is there a motion?
Madam President, Madam Chairman,
Yes, President Rodriguez made the full motion?
Yeah, I believe there was a motion made and a second
Yes.
already.
Yes. We need a second?
Yeah, I don't believe there was if so I missed, was there a motion and a second already? On the amended consent agenda?
no.
I don't think so either. So I think where we are now is we need a motion to approve the amended consent agenda.
Yes.
Madam President, make a motion.
Motion
To
made by,
approve the amended
motion made by President Rodriguez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Smith. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Madam Chairman.
Are there any comments? I'm sorry, are there any comments from the board?
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Secretary Gomez.
Thank you. Two things. It's difficult to hear. There's some chatter in the audience, I believe. And if that mic is on, it's difficult to hear what's going on. So if that mic could either be turned off or the audience can just tone it down for a moment until we conduct this business. Secondly, to somewhat off point, but I did want to relate this to Trustee Smith's comment for Attorney Harris maybe to address. We also have the CFO listed as our treasurer. Is there action we need to take on that?
So if I remember correctly, I think that issue was raised at the last meeting with Mr. Pena. Dr. Abrego, do I remember that correctly?
Yeah.
Was there some action that was taken at the last meeting that recognized Mr. Pena as?
Yes,
Didn't that happen?
yes.
Yeah, I think we did cover that at the last meeting, if memory serves me right. President Rodriguez, do you recall that? Yep.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah, I think we're covered there.
Okay.
And I know what you mean as officially being the treasurer for the district. Yes, I think we're covered.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Next, we have new business.
Yes, we have item 601. We're asking approval to accept East Chicago Foundation grant regarding the fitness center.
Are there any questions from the audience? Mr. Ambrego can explain. Mr. Ambrego can explain that.
What was the question?
What's the grant about?
Oh, what's the grant? The Foundations of East Chicago is going to grant the school city of East Chicago $180,000 to basically run the fitness center. They've been doing it with a different organization, but they want to give it to the school city of East Chicago to run it. So we want to accept that and hopefully do that if it's approved. It would just be under the school city of East Chicago operations. We run it just like we do our schools.
What he's trying to say is, I'm sorry, Dr. Briggs, want me to help you on that one?
Well,
Oh, he did it, okay.
we've got people from the foundation here also, but they did a presentation, and it was basically for us to take over the day-to-day operations of the fitness center. Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the East Chicago? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Can you, can you come to the, yeah, can you, yeah, we want to see.
I'd like to know what changes are going to be made since the school city will be taken over. What kind of changes will be made?
Well, as I said, when the school city of Chicago manages the fitness center, we're going to have job descriptions for the people that are there. We're going to elevate the job descriptions. We want those individuals to have degrees. We're going to be paying pretty much the same as we pay a teacher, so we want them to have expertise in their area.
People that's already been there? And that's what, that was gonna be my next question. I think they've been doing a pretty good job. I've been going to fitness since myself, but I'm not quite understanding why you would need, these degrees that you're talking about if they've been doing.
I can't hear you. If you could go to the mic, please.
I'm not quite understanding why they would all of a sudden need a degree to do what they've been doing for the last 20 years.
Well, basically what we're doing is we're paying very good money.
So you're certifying them as a teacher?
Yes, we're going to have people with degrees. And what the problem is in the school city of Chicago, we have individuals that are placed in positions, but they're not highly qualified. For example, we do have right now paraprofessionals that are actually teaching some classes, and we don't want that. We want to elevate that. And we also have other situations where we have teachers that aren't properly certified in their area. So all we're going to do with this grant right here is making sure that we have highly qualified people in these areas.
Well, I hope you take in consideration all the years of service these people have put in there, how they interact with our children, because that's a big problem here, of how people interact with our children. We don't want people just coming in, taking over the jobs. They don't know anything about East Chicago kids, but they may be highly qualified, but they're not know how to interact with the urban setting. They don't know the kids. You got kids that have special needs that go to that fitness center that people know and trust, and their families trust them being there. So I'm hoping you take all that into consideration. It's good to make a clean sweep and make it elevated, but there's a lot of other things that belong in that situation.
Thank you.
Yes, they finished. Are there any more comments from the public?
Just one thing, I'm to understand that you can terminate those individuals who are already been employed for 20 years. I've been running. We're going to terminate them, hire a new crew with college degrees and all of that. Okay, so what are we going to be doing with them, with those individuals, with college degrees, different with our students? Now, so you got a plan in place for that?
Do we have a plan for what now? Well, what are we going to do?
We're going to terminate the people who are there now and bring in all the highly qualified, which no problem highly qualified. But what are we going to do? We have a plan in place that's going to challenge our students to excel further in physical fitness? And if so, where's that plan? Is it available to us or what?
Well, the plans in the job descriptions that we're bringing in highly qualified people. And I was there when we brought these individuals, I want to say about 30 years ago. We didn't have the highly qualified individuals to give our kids the strength and conditioning, the proper strength and conditioning. And we did bring individuals many years ago. They weren't from East Chicago. They were from outside, but they did elevate all our programs. I don't know if you remember 30 years ago where our football team was, I think, 10-0. Those kids were all, they received instruction in weight training, conditioning, eating properly, and it really did elevate all our programs. So we want to do that not just with the students, but also with the community. We want people that are experts in their field and can help our students and our community.
So you're going to have a plan, the job description, would that be available?
Yes.
Where can we get a copy of that?
Well, this all has to be approved first.
Once it's approved or not approved, it's available.
Right.
Period. Because if you've got it on the paper.
Yes.
Can we see it before
Sure.
we make this?
It will be posted online. Once we have the approval, we'll be able to post the job descriptions online, the qualifications, and we'll have to go to procedures to hire the best people possible. So those people haven't been chosen yet.
No, I'm not. Really.
Is there any more comment from the public?
Ms. Gibson-King, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Ms. Taylor is here, and I know we're going to get into discussion for this. Can we recognize this young lady for her, Ms. Quiroga?
Trust me, Mrs. Hernandez, Trustee Hernandez Orange, I'm going to recognize that student. Trust me, she's going to get her recognition. But I don't want to we got something on the table right now. It'll be addressed. Just give us a little time, young lady. Thank you.
Okay.
Questions from the audience?
Yeah, okay. So is there a motion to is there a motion to approve to accept the East Chicago Foundation grant regarding the fitness center?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
President Joel Rodriguez makes the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Secretary Gomez. I have a question here. I want to make very clear that the documents that we have from the foundation is here. We don't have a job description, so we're not approving a job description. We're only approving what we have here in our hands. We don't have a job description attached to this. So we're only approving this. Thank you. That's all we're approving is this right here is what we have. Thank you. Yes.
You said we're just gonna approve.
That's what we got right here. That's all we're approving. We don't have no job description at all. So we approving what the foundation said that we're gonna do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments from the board?
Chairman, Gibson King?
Yes.
I have a couple questions. And first, I'd like to apologize for not being able to be at the work session. Unfortunately, we scheduled a work session without discussing with the entire board, and my kids had a track meet. So these documents that I had, that were here, I did not have, not all of them, and the questions that I had, I couldn't ask because I couldn't visually see this. With that being said, I have a couple questions. One, if we do not accept this grant for us in the school city, does that mean that the fitness center will close?
With the fitness center closed, if we don't accept the grant.
Well, we have,
Did you say with the fitness center closed?
correct. So if we do not accept this grant, if we don't run this grant, will the fitness center close?
Well, the fitness center wouldn't totally close, but the part that is for the community, I think would not be funded.
Okay. We have, is it possible for the individuals right here from the foundations to speak to us, just so we could hear the answer?
Is there someone that from the foundation could help us with the answering the questions?
Yes. We fund a grant right now through a nonprofit organization. And because that organization does not have the staff to really run the grant, we are coming to the school city to accept the grant and move forward. If the school city does not accept the grant, okay, then I don't know where the school is going to get the funds to fund the afternoon program from 2:30 to 8:30 when the fitness center is open for the kids and for the adults. So yes, we will not fund the grant.
My second question is, I know there was a previous discussion about scenarios and who's, basically, what scenario we're going to go with in regards to the employment. So we have some that have an employment amount along with the Medicare, the pension, the basic life, et cetera. So we have different scenarios here. And the only thing that we have yet to see, so we're approving to accept the grant, but we're not accepting, we don't know the correct amount because there's no, I guess, numbers to this grant. So we just have scenarios. I know Dr. Abrego said that it was going to be 180,000. I don't know if that's correct because none of these amounts are close to 180,000. I was just wondering, with the acceptance of the actual grant, do we have an amount for sure that we're going to actually receive annually?
I don't have that with me. Yes, we do have an amount that, and the grant will be run now from July 1st to December, and then if you accept the grant, then from January until the end of the year in 2024. So whatever amount, and I don't have that amount with me.
There's three. There's three different amounts. So scenario one, it states that the annual cost will be $159,644.12. The second one is $191,222.86. And scenario three is $127,140.03. So I don't know if there was a discussion, like a final discussion of what is anticipated annually that we would receive.
No, I don't have that information.
Scenario two.
And I have those numbers. The numbers that we, that we proposed was exactly the same thing from the beginning. But when we had a discussion, we told the board that Coach Peterson and I went and talked to the members of the foundation, and we were asking them to get these highly qualified individuals if they could help with the benefits. So we gave them 3 scenarios, 1, 2, and 3, and they want us to do the program correctly. So they said, in order to do it correctly and have high-quality people, they said they would fund option number 2. Option number 2, the exact amount is $191,222.86. So that was what we agreed upon.
Oh, so it was more than what you just said. You said it was 180,000, and now we're 191,220. Okay, so with that, Attorney Harris, is this something that we need to put in our documentation in the written letter of what we're actually approving? Because if not, then...
So just based upon what I'm hearing, I think there's a little confusion as to what actually is being requested of the board. My understanding of the request is just for accepting the grant, and that would mean that there'd be a certain amount of funding to be accepted from the foundations by the school corporation. Here, it seems as though if we're saying that it's contingent upon carrying out a certain scenario, that we're also then making approval of certain personnel decisions as well, because the scenario involves making certain personnel decisions to carry out that scenario. So I think we just need to be clear what it is you're requesting from the board. Is it just the acceptance of the grant, or is it the acceptance of the grant under the terms and conditions of scenario 2? Because if so, then that also includes personnel decisions.
And I also want to add to that, so if this is a grant that's annually done, just like every other monies that comes in on an annual basis, we would have to approve the annual amount. So that's why my thought is you're wanting to approve an amount with the grant for an annual basis, because that's actually how you're supposed to do it per State Board of Accounts. Am I correct, Mr. Pena? Thank you.
Well, it's my understanding, Mr. Counselor,
Yes?
I'm just approving what I'm reading right here. That's all it
that's
is.
my impression
I ain't got
too.
nothing else. That's what the foundation gave us. We sure appreciate this. Don't get me wrong. We approved this right here. Let's make that clear. We ain't proving nothing else.
Yeah, I think that's
all we
that's
need.
how I understood it as well. I just want to make
That's
sure there's
right.
not
That's what
confusion.
we ain't
because-
trying to get confusion, trustee.
Good.
So with that, I do agree. I mean, I'm not not approving the grant by any means. Yes, I think this fitness center does bring a lot to our community. Not that I don't, I just want to do it right. Probably about a month ago, we had where we weren't going to approve grants into our State Board of Accounts. So this is another situation where we just need to do it correctly. And if we're approving a grant, you can't just approve a grant without the money. So if we're going to say that we're approving this grant from the Foundations of East Chicago for $191,222.86, that's what it should be. Now, with that being said, the other portion of, you know, who gets hired, how they get hired, the job description, all that stuff, that's another discussion point. But again, if we're going to approve this grant, there should be a money amount tied to the grant that's being given to the school city of East Chicago.
Without stipulations, is that what she's saying?
Yeah, without stipulation.
No, it's just, step number 1 is we have to accept the grant first,
Accept the grant with the money.
and accept the grant with the money total that you indicated right
Correct.
here, $191,220.86. That's what we're trying to get approved today.
But that 191 that you're talking about, okay, that includes the scenario that was given to us about what will be paid to the people that's going to be hired.
Right.
So then this actually has to have a discussion on what it is for this finishing out this year. And then, well, I don't know. I don't know how you would do that, because someone's on staff right now, so you have to pay them a certain amount, and then for the upcoming year, you're gonna have to figure out the numbers for that. Yeah, you guys have to go back to the drawing board with the funds, with the monies.
Well, let me ask a question. I'm gonna ask, right now, we want to.
Or pay them the people who are there this amount.
Yeah, because we're not approving a job description. We're just approving what's here, right, Counselor?
Yes, and that's why I wanted to.
And this is the grant. This is
That's
us
why I
accepting
made
the
that,
grant.
that comment was not to create confusion, but just to make it clear, it's the
Right.
dollar amount being accepted.
Right.
But not anything further.
You approved the grant, the job descriptions are already on there. Yes, they are. If
Yeah, they
you
are.
look at the amount, look at number 2, what does it say?
They are.
It says fitness center instructor, but the job description has to be approved by the board in order for that to actually be, okay.
I'm just saying that those descriptions are for
Right.
certified
Right.
people, just as much as when you hire teachers who are certified.
Right.
So under actual 2,
People who are qualified.
Right, and the reason why we were given a job description from the superintendent.
Yes, we have.
And we not approving what he gave us, we just approving what you are giving us. That's what we doing. Job description ain't in here from what,
yeah, and it doesn't, actually, none of these items actually say that. So in the scenario, it says
Right.
fitness instructor 1, fitness instructor 2. It also states on the front page, program description, it says, does not say certified.
See the job descriptions that were given?
This is all I have.
it's not attached on here though.
Well, you have them.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't.
Right, we not saying that we don't have them, we just not, it's not
I
attached
know,
to this.
but they were given to you.
Yes, we're not arguing that, but we just only approving what we have. This is it. That's what we, thank you.
Can we just approve the grant?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We got
That's
it.
what we're trying to do.
We got what we're gonna approve right
now,
here.
I think there's a misunderstanding on what we're trying to do. We're trying to approve a grant. Someone wants to give our school district some money to keep our fitness center open. And from my understanding, now I might be wrong, I want this grant approved. I don't want to keep going back and forth with this. It wastes time and energy. If the job description is a part of this packet, then that's the salary. What we don't want to do is, we don't want to go into a job description for a master's or a bachelor's. Right now, if that person fits that particular amount of money that's allocated, that's what we want to approve. We're not approving any positions right now.
Right, we don't, that's
We
right.
just want to
can't-
approve
right,
the grant.
right.
Get it passed, because they could really give their money to somebody else. I mean, let's just be real. Because we keep playing over and over and over and over and again. I don't know if these positions are for, you want to get rid of these people because they've been here 25, 35 years, or you feel like they're not qualified, or maybe you just want to move somebody else in that you want in. But right now, at this particular point, let's approve the grant. Please. We
So-
just go on and on.
We've already,
Chairman Gibson King, question, and this is probably for the attorney. With if we approve the grant, well, first off, I think we need to amend it and add on that it's going to be $191,222.86. That's number one. Number two, because there's people in place now, will they just get, this is Attorney Harris, will those individuals who are there, will they just continue that for right now? And then we do a job description, and then whatever that is.
Yes, the only thing that's going to happen if this motion is approved is the grant will be accepted. Outside of that, there aren't any personnel decisions that are being made
Right, so,
as a result
but
of
with
this.
the amount of $191,222.86, correct?
you say,
What she's suggesting is that the motion include a specific dollar amount, because the original motion was just to approve the acceptance of the grant, but without a specific dollar amount included in that motion. So she's saying, let's approve it with a specific dollar amount.
I think, Counselor, is this is it right here?
No, what she's saying, but,
That's it right there.
She's saying.
Yeah, so this is what we're approving. We're approving everything that's on this piece
so
of
they're
paper
going
right
to
here.
tell us no.
Yeah.
Scenario number 2.
No, we just putting that down there, that 192, yeah.
That's what-
That's what we're approving. Right. No, we not, I already said that. We don't have a job, it's not attached to this. Job description is not attached. No, what they gave us is attached for what the scenario of the job, what the job is gonna consist. But we don't have we approving what she have.
So just to be clear, I believe there is a motion, a secondary motion to amend the motion to accept the grant to include the dollar amount of $191,000. And I think you need us.
No, see, so we're not separate. No, we already, no, we're not separate. It's a separate job description that our superintendent wrote out. We're not accepting what he wrote out. We're only accepting what the foundation gave us. Yes.
So, let me make this clear. If you approve the $191,000,
Yes.
if you, once you send the paperwork in for the grant, I'm not trying to get rid of anyone. We're not gonna pay you $191,000 for people that's not qualified to do a job. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So we need to get that straight right now.
Right.
So that amount might drop down to $150,000.
Yes.
I want us to understand that.
Right.
Okay? Because what we've given you is $191,000 is what we're giving to us
Yes.
with those job descriptions, and that's what that $191,000 is. So,
Yes.
so we have to understand.
Yes.
So the amount may not be there, so you may approve $191,000, but once we receive the grant and the personnel is not qualified to get the salary that we're talking about, we're just not gonna give them money just to be.
Mr. Weems, I just want to say, that is what Coach Peterson told us in the beginning. So that's why I want to approve an amount with it. And then like Coach Peterson said the first time he came was depending on what status the individuals being hired are at is what we were getting paid.
Okay, long as
I remember him saying that specifically. So
Because-
that's why I just want to make sure we have a dollar amount tied for State Board of Accounts, and that's it.
Yes, because Mr. Peters was part of writing up this job description, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, are there any more questions
No,
from?
there's a motion to include, a secondary motion to
Secondary
include the
motion.
dollar amount.
There's a secondary motion on the floor to improve the dollar amount.
Is there a second?
Is there a second? Approve the dollar amount. Second by trustee Smith. Any comments?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
um,
Oh, that's you, Ms.
I've been-
Gomez? Okay.
I've been following the discussion, and I'm okay with the secondary motion with the condition, though, that the dollar amount is subject to the items that Mr. Weems has identified and Ms. Cocott. That the max would be conditional on that, but with a minimum, but maybe less than that if there's a change in the job description.
Okay, I mean, if you,
So you,
I don't think so either, but.
Yeah, I think that's a good point of clarification. I don't think you need to amend the motion further for that, but I think the record will be clear. I agree with the comment as well, that it's not intended that these amounts will be guaranteed, but rather it's an amount not to exceed that number, and it'll vary depending upon the employee's qualifications. So I do think that that's clear.
is there any other comments? If not, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Go ahead.
Trustee Hernandez Orange? Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
He did.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
And just for the record, Trustee Gomez, are you able to share your image? I just want to make sure that your vote will be valid because you have to be seen.
No, I'm having problems with that. I was going to jump off this and rejoin after this.
Then his vote doesn't count.
Okay. Technically for the record, we have to show that his vote doesn't count because he can't be seen.
Okay. We're going to pause for a minute and get with this young lady here that came back so we could recognize her for her achievement and success. Will you want to come up?
Ms. Quiroga, if you could come introduce your student, please.
Yes. Yes. Stand over this way so we could see you on the screen there.
Well, this is Layla Butler. She's number 2 at Block, has 3.89 average. And we're very proud of her. She's a little nervous. Don't need to be nervous. You're Miss Q. I'm here with you. So Ms. Butler, again, was born in Wisconsin, moved to Alabama, 1st grade, and then in Chicago in 4th grade. She still has a family in both these states, plus Louisiana, but would really love to travel to New Zealand one day. Her favorite 2 subjects are English and science. Her toughest subject is Espanol. Layla intends to go to a 4-year university, possibly Indiana University, which is a very good one, and pursue a career in veterinary medicine. She will be attending Central High School next year. So proud of you. I did give her the medal, and she has a certificate. Congratulations to you, Ms. Butler. We're very, very proud of you, and thank you for being patient. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Next on the is 6.02, approval of the 3% increase in stipend of non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrator, and security. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, we're on 6.
This is approval, 3% increase stipend for non-union. What staff would that be? Report down.
Yes, we've already approved raises for our teachers. We go down the line, so this would be our administrators and all the other people here that are non-certified. We have our clerks, we have all the non-certified administrators and so forth. So it's all the other remaining people that we have.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just as a point of order, I've been having problems with my
Okay.
connection here. So we approved the secondary motion, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
Are we back on for the foundation? You speaking?
Yes.
But we didn't approve. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Yeah, I
But we did not approve the.
The actual motion.
Yeah, it
We cannot
became the
approve
motion.
this amended.
I think I understand what your question is, Trustee Gomez. And basically, the secondary motion was to substitute the motion altogether, to,
Okay,
it was,
I'm sorry.
yeah, you understand it was by
I have problems with my
substitution.
internet.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Gomez. Now, we're on, the 3% increase. Do I have a motion?
Would you like me to read?
Oh, yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry, yes.
This is what,
Yes.
it's the recommendation. It is recommended that non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrators and security receive a 3% raise to their salary retroactive to July 1st, 2022, and a $700 stipend. The increase in stipends are in line with all CBA's 2022-2023 school year increases. In addition, a certified administrator, that is a director, a principal, and assistant principal, who receives an evaluation rating of effective or highly effective in the 2022-23 school year is also eligible for a salary increase and stipend mentioned above if they serve 120 days in their current position.
So that, this 2%, that's just automatic you get, just after so many years of employment? I mean, how do you do that? Because I paid a lot of taxes this year, you hear me? A lot of it, I don't have a problem with it. Explain that to me.
I don't understand your question, but
Not to be a person, but is this ongoing, I mean, is this automatic across the board?
Well,
Every year, or every 2
yeah,
years? Or
well,
I have to work X amount of years, I have to do
no,
X amount of performance?
this is the normal process every year that they start with the teachers. Once they do the teachers, then they do all the different units. This is the last step with the last individuals that have not been approved, have not received raises.
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Are there any more public comments? Is there a motion to approve the 3% increase in stipend for non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrators, and security?
There's a
Madam
motion.
President, I make the motion.
Motion made by President Rodriguez,
Second.
second by Secretary Gomez. Any questions from the board?
So we're just approving the 3%, correct?
Yes.
We're not doing the other part of it, right?
What's
What other part?
This let me see if I can find it. I need some understanding on this. Okay. It says it's recommended the non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrator, and security receive 3% raise to their salary, retroactive to 07/01/2022, and a $700 stipend. This increase and stipends are in line with all the CBA's 22 to 2023 school year increase. In addition, a certified administrator, director, principal, or assistant principal who receives an evaluation rating of effective or highly effective in 2022 to 2023 school year is also eligible for a salary increase in the stipend mentioned if they have served 120 days in their current position. And now maybe I'm just babbling, but I don't have a problem with the non-certified. I don't have a problem with any of this, but I just need some clarification. Dr. Brago, first of all, I just want to discuss the certified administrative director principals, assistant principals raises for 22 through 23 school year, and we haven't even completed 23 school year. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, these are the raises for people that have worked from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This is only for this year. It's going to be retroactive, means it goes backwards. Okay, so we're not talking about any raises for the future. And the only thing this says, for all our staff, we want them to get their 3% salary increase, just like all the others got. And the other question is, I think you're asking about the director principals, assistant principals. This is just in line, same thing that teachers, if they receive an effective rating, they get the raise. If they don't, they don't. So we're just aligning our leadership team with that of the teachers.
So my next question is, does teachers have contracts?
Yeah. Yes.
No, they don't. What's the year they contract?
Oh,
Yeah.
they had it for this year. They already got their raises.
Yeah, we know they got their raises, but what is their contract from 22 to 23?
They always have it from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Okay, yeah, you're right, the teachers. I'm speaking about, I'm speaking about the principals and the assistant principals. What is their contract year for?
I'm not talking about teachers, I'm talking about
Principals.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you,
Yeah,
Chairman.
yeah, what is their?
Our principals get, I believe, a 2-year contract. So they're going to, this is their first year, and they're going to be going to their second year. So we're asking for a 3% raise for the first year.
Okay, but it's my understanding that, that they get a 2-year contract when they first start to working. Then after that, everybody get a yearly contract. Is that right, Council?
So they're completing year one of the 2-year contract right now.
Some.
That's where they stand.
Some.
Yeah, I don't know about all of them,
All
but
of them.
generally, that's my understanding from Dr. Abrego, that they're
Many.
finishing year one of
Oh,
a 2-year contract.
See, that's what I have a problem with this date in here, because I have contracts from the people, July 2021. I don't have nothing to say 22, 23 for these principals, and these, directors. Do you have anything?
No, I mean,
Okay, I have another question.
Well, I'm just letting you know I don't have anything.
Me, Have we used evaluations to decide if this group received raises in the past, or is this a new process?
This is a new process. As I said, we're trying to align our leaders with our teachers.
Okay? If this is a new process, have the certified administrators been alerted to the changes in advance prior to this meeting?
They've all been told from the very beginning that they will be evaluated.
No.
Okay? Or who completes this evaluation? Was it the superintendent, you, or who else was involved in these evaluations? Because you know these evaluations for principals, and if I'm not mistaken, principals and teachers, aren't they documented and given to the state evaluations, principals?
Well, number one, you're asking me a question. Everybody's has a certain amount of people they have to evaluate. I evaluate the directors here. The directors in turn will evaluate the principals. The principals in turn will evaluate the assistant principals in their buildings.
Okay, so did the superintendent do the high school and middle school administration staff evaluation based on prior superintendent recommendations from 2001 to 2002 school year?
I think you combine 2 years. We're only talking about this year. From the beginning of the year, our administrators start in July, and they go through June 30th. So that's the only ones we're talking about.
So can I chime in on Chairman King? I think what Ms. Smith is trying to say, so our teachers and other individuals that are in the CBA, if they get evaluated, when they get evaluated, it's not for this year if they're going to get the stipend or not. It's from previous years. Correct me if I'm wrong. So in other words, they receive their compensation, the extra compensation, because their evaluation was from 21, 22, not 22, 23, which means you are treating the administrators differently on 2 occasions. One, it states here that they are going to be the only ones, the directors, principals, assistant principals will be the only ones that you're actually going to put a determining factor of effective or highly effective to determine whether or not they received the actual increase. The other thing is that you're treating them different because of the fact that you are evaluating them from this year, 22, 23 year, rather than the one before. Mind you, evaluations have to be done for the principals, directors annually. So you could have actually stated in the beginning of the year, your stipend or your increase in the raise would be effective if you receive the actual highly effective notification or evaluation. So I think that's what Ms. Smith is trying to get at. And I think I expressed this previously, that we have a problem with taking a subgroup to say, this is what you're going to get, what you're not going to get. Mind you, I'm in agreement that there should be some type of evaluation, and that decides whether or not they're going to receive a stipend and an increase. I also think that you should have told them ahead of time. With that, I'm not sure if all evaluations have been done as of yet, and if they have not been done, or if they have been done, does that include the 120 days served? So like, how are you going to evaluate somebody if they haven't received, actually went through 120 days? So to me, and it probably won't pass but I would like to make a secondary motion because of the fact that you're treating subgroups differently, even in this group alone. Security is not included to say if they'll receive this increase, if they're highly effective. The clerks, the non-certified clerks, the deans, the non-union, all those are not even included on here. But yet they're all going to receive an increase if we pass this. So again, you're treating a subgroup differently. I don't agree to that. So I am asking for a secondary motion to this to remove the items that say an evaluation rating effective or highly effective in 2022-2023 school year. I believe everyone who is on all the non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrative security should receive the 3% raise, retroactive to 7/1/2022, and a $700 stipend. so that we can make it equal and fair across the board.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question about the secondary
Sure,
motion?
yes.
I want to make sure, in the secondary motion, are you including or excluding the 120-day requirement?
No, definitely included the 120-day requirement.
Okay.
Because or else you would have some administrators who just got on who receive it, and we don't, but it's a 120-day requirement. So that's my secondary motion.
Is there a second?
All you have to do is there a secondary motion now.
Is there a secondary motion?
Second.
Second by trustee Smith.
Discussion.
Discussion or comments behind this motion?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, trustee Gomez?
Yeah, again, can I have the details of that motion?
So the motion will be, it's a secondary motion to approve the 3% raise, salary, the raise, salary retroactive to 7/1/2022, and a $700 stipend for all non-union affiliated staff, non-certified administrators, and security, with 120 days served in the current position.
Dr. Abrego, do you understand the motion?
Did you say, do you understand this motion that Vanessa made on the floor about the 3%?
I think I do, but here's where I'm at right now. We have individuals that work very hard, teachers, administrators, all the way through. We want them to get their 3% raise. At the same time, I don't have a problem if we want to set the criteria for next year, where we put the expectations on individuals. Again, I don't have a problem with that. It's good that they know from the beginning of the year. Our staff knows, and the most important thing is our community wants us to elevate our schools. We can only elevate our schools by putting expectations of accountability on all our individuals, all our leaders all the way through, from teachers all the way up to the superintendent. I mean, I have criteria for me, so that's all we want. So the basic thing is we do want everyone to get their 3% raise. I don't have a problem with that.
Any other questions?
Madam
Yes,
Chairman?
yes, President Rodriguez.
And I kind of agree with trustee Orange. The only part that I don't agree on is the fact that in the past years, there have not been an evaluation. So given that the superintendent has structured the evaluation process for the non-certs, we're sort of just pulling that to the side and allowing us to vote on the 3% across the board, is what I'm hearing. So, I mean, to my understanding, I feel that the hard work that every principal, every assistant principal, yeah, if they feel that they didn't do the job that they should have been doing, or if they did do the job, and that maybe they haven't gotten a good evaluation, they understand that. I think the fact that they'll work harder next year, but to give them a reward for something that, I mean, you just look at the schools. I mean, just look at the grades. I mean, we have a system in place. And I think the superintendent has done a yeoman's job as far as allocating these responsibilities to the directors, to principals, assistant principals. Now this body is willing to avoid all that, to make it across the board. I don't understand.
Any other comments or questions?
Dr. Abrego?
Yes, okay, yes, so
Or-
Secretary
Yes,
Gomez.
so, again, can we start from the beginning of where this idea came from, the fund it's coming from, how you structured this?
I didn't hear the question.
He wants you to give a little bit more background.
Okay. Yes, I think the biggest thing was when I was doing the superintendent forums, I was talking with members of the community, and they had a big concern when they found out that our schools were not, were underperforming. So they just threw ideas at me, and they suggested that in order for us to improve our schools, they wanted us to hold all of our leaders accountable, our principals, superintendent, all the way down the line. So they said to me, Dr. Bagel, consider people earning their raises. So the way they could earn their raises is if you improve your schools, you qualify for a raise. But if our schools are staying underperforming and people aren't held accountable and they're still getting raises, we're not going to get to where we're trying to get to.
Right.
Chairman Gibson.
Yes.
King, so I just want to just add to that, and I really want this to move forward because it's already 7:27. But with that, if we're saying that we're just throwing stuff out there to see what sticks, and maybe we're playing with the lives of people, that's number one. Number two, you are correct in saying that I think we should make sure that evaluations are done. I 100% believe it. Everyone should be going through the exact same thing. I worked for the school city of East Chicago. I received 2 evaluations my whole entire time I worked here. That was 10 years. So I agree, it needs to happen. The only problem is that we should know ahead of time, they should know ahead of time whether or not they're gonna get an evaluation, and if that's gonna be the determining factor, if they receive the stipends overall or not. The third thing is, you're saying that it's okay for them not to receive their stipend, right? Because they're underperforming, blah, 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 blah. So are we saying for you, because you said in our interviews, you said in the process of hiring that we were going to get these schools to be schools in 1 year. Does that mean that we don't allow you to get your increase in pay?
Well, he ain't gonna get an increase in pay.
Madam Chairman, I would agree with that. If he doesn't, then he doesn't
Right,
get,
he don't get no-
it's as simple as that. She's absolutely right.
He don't get nothing.
If he
But the
doesn't,
problem
then-
is that the board did not do its proper process, right? So that's the reason why it's a debatable item.
Right.
So with that, this is the reason why I have the secondary motion on the table. So can
So
we,
if I'm understanding that correctly, then Dr. Brago automatically gets 3% because whether we evaluate him.
we have to look at his contract, because I don't know if it's a 3% increase or not.
Wait a minute now.
What, he getting 3%?
We have to look at his contract to see
No,
exactly what it says.
Well, we ain't
So
got
that's
his
what I'm
contract.
saying. We had just had a discussion about it. So with that being said, I think there's a motion on the table. Let's move forward and decide whether or not you guys are going to vote for this up or down.
Well, I think that, I got to say something here. Do we need to table this for further discussion? Because we don't want to,
Well, there's a motion on the.
oh, yeah, we got a motion. So,
Madam Chair,
Yes.
final question, or final comment.
Yes.
I would agree with the tabling.
yes.
Of this. I think there's a lot moving parts here. This is somewhat simplified, this vote, so I would be more in favor of tabling this item.
So we do know that the next meeting will be after the school year ends, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it would be June the 5th. You got down, June the 5th is the next meeting. Oh, trustee.
Right, and the school year ends in May.
I believe we could have a a special meeting.
Yeah, I think the idea is that.
So there's a motion on the floor. Can we move forward with the motion or not? Or if he's tabling, he has to make a second it. Someone has to,
So
Second
what-
it.
So, okay, no, so we need somebody to second the motion then.
It's been
Oh,
seconded.
it's
There's a
already-
motion and a second on the floor now.
Attorney Harris, can you explain to us the second motion again?
Yes, so a secondary motion was made by trustee Hernandez Orange, basically agreeing with the recommendation of the superintendent with the exception of removing the evaluation criteria as a condition of getting the 3% raise and the $700 stipend. That's what she's proposing. That's the secondary motion. So it's all of the recommendation of the superintendent, which is the 3% raise, $700 stipend, but she's saying remove the requirement that the employee receive an effective or highly effective evaluation for the 22-23 school year. And I believe in Dr. Abreu's comments, he said for next year, he would have no problem with giving them advance notice that their raise and/or stipend will be contingent upon them getting that evaluation rating. That's where things stand right now.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
to that point, then we could also, as you requested, maybe have a table this item that would require removal of the secondary motion, correct, Attorney Harris?
If you make that in a motion, that's correct.
Yeah.
So we got to vote on it. Okay.
No, his motion to table would interrupt even that secondary
Oh, okay.
motion, right? There needs to be a
Madam Chair?
second.
We
If
need
he's
a
making the
second-
motion, you need
a
a
second
second
to
on the-
table the motion.
Yeah.
Did I hear a second?
I'll second the table.
Second by President Rodriguez.
Discussion.
Is there any discussion?
I just have one discussion, and with regards to the actual situation in hand. Again, I don't know, how should I put this, but when someone's hired, I mean, especially in school city, I'm pretty sure we got to have some sort of policy in this because, I mean, somebody gets hired, whether it's a non-administrative position, and doesn't feel that they're going to get evaluated for years. I mean, that's kind of like the situation we're at right now. However, if we put something like this in place, a structure in place, and now we want to just go back to the way it was. It doesn't make any sense. If a person's hired in any school, at least to my understanding, there is a sense of evaluation, or how would you get a raise? I mean, yeah, just for thought.
Chairman,
Yes.
Gibson King, so
Yes.
with that, I agree. We should definitely have it at the beginning of the year. So previous superintendents, what they would do is have a contract as close to the beginning of the year as possible. In that contract for that 1 year, you might want to put on there what the evaluation actually affects. So that should actually happen in the beginning of the school year, which we had enough time because you were hired in June. So the other thing is, you're affecting daily lives of individuals who don't even make, they're making minimum wage, but they don't have any benefits, because that's our securities included, and then our non-cert. So I hope that every single person who's a layperson in the city of East Chicago, remember every single one of these people who are saying, no, you're not going to get your stipend and your increase in raise.
I think we're jumping two different hurdles here. Number one, I'm talking more on the evaluation of what the superintendent, the principals, the vice principals, the individuals that actually structure this district. Those are the individuals that I'm talking about. Other than that, I'm pretty sure they have an evaluation tool for some of the younger folks, the non-certs. I mean, like say, for example, if somebody misses 4 months, attendance, if they have a terrible attendance as far as coming to work, you're basically giving them a raise, is what you're saying.
But it says you have to work 120 days, so.
Right, it does, say 120 days.
It has to be a structure, that's all. And I think, we can look at our administrative guidelines, Attorney Harris, if you can look at our policy, administrative guidelines, there has to be something in there that states that. I guarantee you there's something there.
Well, my opinion is that we want to.
Madam Chair?
Trustee Smith?
Madam Chairman.
Yeah, you got your.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
My opinion is if you, we've been going over this over and over and over and over again, and like Trustee Hernandez says, these people deserve this raise, the stipend. Me, myself, I'm a working person. I don't want to pay $5.99 for a dozen of eggs. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have to even make my decision, do I go to Aldi's or whatever. So I don't think that you should table it. But I'm
So,
saying, but the evaluation thing, I think what I'm trying to get to is, do it,
can we have some order?
Okay, okay.
or start from the beginning, like he said, nothing was in place from past, as you say, Superintendent, Chairman,
Yes, Gibson
King,
King.
Cap Gibson King. We can't keep doing the norm.
No, we can't.
We can't keep doing the norm. I agree with you on that, so.
Any more discussion on the motion to
That's
table?
just my.
Any more discussion on the motion to table?
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Just
Secretary.
A comment that, to table, it doesn't mean that it's being buried.
Right,
You know,
right.
we're trying to revive it in a way that is sensible to everyone. I don't dispute other points of issue that people have. I would like to have further discussion about it, and that's the only reason for the table. We can come right back to this, have a special meeting. Nothing precludes us from, it puts us in a position of where we have to bury this. I don't want to bury it either. I think there's some valid points on both sides, so let's just have another meeting and as an exec session, we can figure this out.
Thank you, Secretary Gomez. Diane Bigham, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
This is the motion.
This is a table.
This
Yes.
is the table,
To table
yes.
the secondary.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Trustee Smith? No. Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Absolutely not.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
So just procedurally, the matter's table.
Yes. Next on the item is 603, approval of therapy travelers contract.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I think we have Ms. Tammy Poe, and these are basically positions for summer school that are needed for special education department. 603 is approval of therapy traveler contract. So if you could please elaborate on that, Ms. Poe?
This is working. Yes, that's exactly what all three of these are, summer contracts. All of them are currently working with our students, and so we're just trying to extend their contract for summer. Occupational therapy, deaf services, and speech.
Oh, yes, Helen.
I just want to make sure that this is their normal hourly rate, because teachers only get their hourly rate for summer school. I want to make sure that this is only their hourly rate, not anything to exceed that.
It's nothing has changed as far as these contracts go. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Madam President, I
Yes,
move to adopt.
you moved.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you. Second by President Rodriguez. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Next on the agenda, we have Mrs. Tammy Poe here.
604.
604, deaf services at Trade Winds.
Yes, and again, it's a contract for special education. It's to extend into the summer school program. Ms. Poe can elaborate a little bit, but I believe it's just to help the students that are deaf.
Yeah, we have a couple that are attending summer school, and they actually utilize the deaf services sign language during the school year. So we're just continuing the contract so that they have a way to communicate and learn.
Do you have any comments from the audience? We hear none. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, there was no motion.
Oh, yeah,
this.
motion, ma'am, I'm sorry. Is there a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion for approval.
Thank you. Yes, and is there a second motion?
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second by President Rodriguez. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Next, we have 605, approval of summer school occupational therapy. Tammy Poll, please.
Okay, it's our occupational therapist. She's been on staff working with us. We're just extending her contract through the summer so that students receive services in summer school.
Are there any questions from the audience? Do I hear a motion to be made?
Madam Chair, make a motion.
Motion made by Secretary Gomez. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Secretary. Oh, I'm sorry. It was first was Rodriguez, second by Secretary Gomez. Are there any remarks from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Madam Chairman Gibson King?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Second, now the subcommittee, 7.01, the policy. Do we have anything from our audience about the policy? Policy is the policy committee. Can give you.
There really isn't a public comment on the policy because there's not a specific policy being reported. This is more for the committee chairman to make a report at this time. That's Trustee Gomez.
Yes, sir. Trustee Gomez, you have a report?
Yes, just a brief report that we did have a meeting with Attorney Snow to review some items with the superintendent. I've asked that the superintendent be present as we are supposed to be working as a team, and I don't want us to be developing policies that are contrary to the goals of, his, essentially to help the policies help him achieve his goals. So those policies are in the works right now, and I expect to have would hopefully hope that we have a special meeting to just review the policies as a whole and get those passed.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Gomez. Roll call, Diane Big.
No.
No. Okay, the next is the finance. Yes. Right, yeah.
Who's the finance committee?
Yeah, I am, but I'm gonna ask Mr. Pena, I don't know. When we were at our meeting on the 11th, this is what he talked about. Do he need to?
If you want him to,
Yeah,
it's up to you as
yeah,
chair.
like the school, City of East Chicago 5-year capital project plan that you gave to us. You want to talk about that?
Do you have the
I have mine, if you want mine.
5-year capital project? But you might have to go to the mic so everyone could hear you what you're saying, if you don't mind, please.
At the last work session, what I put together was just a chart that shows what the current capital projects are going on in the district. Some are occurring this year and some are for next year. And in terms of the bus replacement, it's spread out over 5 years where they're gradually replacing some of the buses that need to be replaced. Most of the projects are improvements being made to the schools. We have for next year, the HVAC at some of the schools is being replaced. There's things with the gym floor. floors at like Harrison School. And then there's things like a couple of upgrades going on in the kitchens at all the schools. And let me see what else. Intercom systems, signage and outdoor landscaping. So these are projects that are in the works for at least the next 5 years. Pardon?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pena.
Okay.
Next, item number 10, the superintendent's remarks.
Yes, thank you, Board President. The most important thing is on Wednesday is a regular day for students and not an e-learning day as previously marked. We also want to say that Washington Elementary, they're going to have their spring concert, and that is on May 18th at 1 o'clock, and the public and our board members are all welcome. We changed our new sign on the billboards, and it has Home of Champions. And the reason we put that is because we have a picture of the McKinley girls basketball team who won the city basketball championship. We also have the Washington boys city champions basketball team, a picture of the entire team. And in the middle, we have a young man whose name is Jamal Backstrom. He was designated as the Youth of the Year by the Boys and Girls Club, and he is a 6th grade student at Washington Elementary. And last but not least, our senior high schools, from Central High School seniors will be graduating on Saturday, June 10th, and that will be held in our Central High School gymnasium. But very important occasion, our seniors will be visiting all of our elementary schools, middle schools, and departments on their traditional senior walk at the end of their senior year. That will be done this Friday.
Thank you. Now, we have trustees' remarks. So I'm going to start with trustee Smith.
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, trustee Hernandez-Orange?
Sure, I have a couple. Dr. Abrego, first and foremost, I just wanted to know if you have addressed the letter that the HRV gave you 2 weeks ago. If you have, just if you could let us know. Have you responded to the HRV, the letter that they gave us 2 weeks ago?
Oh.
The letter that the HRV gave you 2 weeks ago? When Pastor Sloss was here and he gave all of us a letter, did you respond to it or no?
Who's that?
Pastor Sloss from the HRV?
No, I did not.
Okay, just if you can, just let us know when you are going to respond to that. That'd be nice to know. And the salutatorian and the valedictorian are not here anymore, but I just wanted to applaud them for their dedication and continued excellence for all of your academic years, because obviously it starts young. We saw our future possible valedictorian and salutatorian in 4 years, so that was very nice to be able to recognize them. Please continue to be examples of the cardinals that we all want for all of our students to be. It doesn't matter what's around you, you as an individual could be that person and could continue to get grades, continue to test high if you want to. With that, I also wanted to say that with recognizing the salutatorian and valedictorian, there was also 18 other top 20 students that were recognized at Central High School. Annually, students are recognized in a banquet along with their parents and a special teacher that they would like to recognize. This banquet is a way to celebrate their accomplishments of the top 20 individuals in our school. We used to attend banquets as a board at locations like the Lost Marsh or Majestic Casino or somewhere where it's nice and formal so that those students could know that we truly want to applaud their efforts. Unfortunately, these students will be recognized once again in the cafeteria of Central High School. Dr. Abrego, I encourage you to invest in celebrating these accomplishments in the top 20 at a different venue. They deserve a banquet. They deserve to feel special. They deserve to get dressed up along with their families, and we deserve to applaud them for all their efforts. Other surrounding schools go above and beyond for the top 20 students. I suggest that we start doing the same. I do ask, since the top 20 is going to be tomorrow, so obviously you probably won't be able to do that, but I do ask that you end up putting them on the billboard, all the top 20 students, so they could be recognized in some form or way. I also wanted to state that on Friday of last week, the senior class had the honors and awards recognition. Students of the senior class were given awards by not only their teachers, but those who received scholarships from different organizations also were awarded. The Legacy Foundation came to give Ms. Arelli her scholarship, as well as the Foundations of East Chicago came and gave all their awards. So I just wanted to say congratulations to all those seniors recipients for not only their awards, but also for their scholarships that they're receiving. And I did want to say a couple things. I know that we're working to the end of the school year, but for upcoming year, I want to know if we're going to be working in regards to any bias training for our teachers as well as our staff. Previously, we had a discussion once here before about bias training, just because we have students from inner city that are being taught by young teachers coming in. They probably need to know exactly what our inner city kids kind of deal with, and not everyone has a good night's rest, not everyone has food, and we probably need to look into, again, doing some type of bias training. And I did want to address that the rumors of everyone's movement of schools. So there's a rumor out there that all of our principals are moving and this is happening, that's happening. I'm not sure how all the rumors happen well, first off, we don't hear from administrators. I know I don't anymore because they were threatened to not speak to the board, because if they speak to the board, then you're automatically fired. But the community is talking about this. The community is saying that there's going to be changes and no one knows about it. My child does not know if we're going to keep him at Central High School because we don't know who the administrator at that building is going to be next year. I think it's very unfortunate that we're putting our administrators in this predicament. It's stress on top of stress, and while they should be focusing on testing and they should be focusing on graduating seniors, we're focused on if I'm going to have a job and where am I going to be at next year. A couple of things. As the end of the year closes, because of that, I just want to thank all of the staff for your continued dedication of students of the city of East Chicago. You are all what keeps our school district moving forward. Thank you for protecting students from the nonsense that goes on in this boardroom. You all continue to keep students focused, and you guys help them excel academically. Thank you very much for that. And finally, I just want to say that parents be looking forward to announcements of summer camps from the City of East Chicago Parks and Recreation Department. We're collaborating not only with some of the high school coaches from the community. Dr. Abrego has allowed me to have a meeting with Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Pohl, and Ms. Andas for a possible Special Learners Week like we do every year, as well as we're collaborating with community and schools for enrichment at the Parks and Recreation Department. So it's good to see us all working together for the students of East Chicago. That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Hernandez-Orange. Mr. Secretary Gomez? Oh, do you have any remarks?
I'm sorry, I was trying to look up the policy, but there's a policy about the hierarchy and reporting structure. I think to say that employees were threatened, it's a little over, not a little over the top, it is over the top. There was a policy I reviewed just a couple days ago. It was passed in 2009 about the hierarchy and structure of reporting and communication between the board and staff. So it's very clear. I'll print it out for those of you who may not have it and send it over to you.
Okay.
And I just want to commend Dr. Abrego for having the students and retirees in today. It's great to see the continued good work that's happening inside the schools, and I think it's a reflection of your leadership, and also, I think what goes on in the boardroom is challenging. I wouldn't call it nonsense. It's certainly challenging, and I think we can get better, and I believe we will. Thank you.
Thank you. President Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to take this a moment of silence to honor life and legacy of Jeannie Kuklinski. She was a former principal at East Chicago Roosevelt, who recently passed away. She paused in silence to reflect on the countless contribution and achievements that Ms. Kuklinski made to our district as well as our community during his tenure. I would like to also express my admiration for Vice President Patty Jo Gibson King, outstanding leadership during her first board meetings. So if we can give a round of applause for Ms. King. Her ability to guide the proceedings while maintaining a positive professional atmosphere was truly impressive. So as we were going through this, I was just trying to find different ways to kind of express Trustee Patty, or actually our Vice President Patty Jo Gibson King. So I also want to thank the audience for their questions and comments, as well as those who are listening on Zoom. It's always important to have your questions and comments answered, and so that we can actually make a sound decision in our future. So for our district. So thank you for that. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to say that I thank you, Mr. President, for what you just said about me, and I'm so glad to be able to chair the meeting tonight, even though I was a little nervous. But yeah, I was glad to do this. Also, I want to thank our children that came tonight. They got an excellent rewards, high rewards, shall I say. And it's been so many times that we've had our children come in front of us, but we don't ever have a chance to thank them because they leave. So I know that the board, we do have other plans made in the future where we will be allowed to thank them before they leave, them as well as their parents. I want to thank you, Mr. Ambrego, for acknowledging them. And as Trustee Hernandez-Orange said, we have to do better, because there are so many of our children that have achieved some things, but I wouldn't know. Only way I'm knowing it now is because I'm on the board. But sitting in the audience, you know, I've come to the school board meetings at that time, and those people that are there now, that's just a handful. That's not our whole community that knows these children are trying to do something, because we hear so many times daily, every day, our kids, that something is happening to them bad on the news, or something is not in place for them. So this board, I'm looking for this board, all of us, to do better for our children. And I know that we can. I know that's going to happen. So that's what I want to say. And thank the audience as well. And please come back. Huh? Oh, yeah, well, I ain't finished talking. I thank y'all for y'all's help. Okay, now we will move on. We're going to move on now. Oh, yes, Trustee Smith. That's okay.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but, I'm always doing that. I just want to let you all know that I didn't have anything to say, but every Monday morning, the churches are getting together, and we're not going into the schools, so don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but we stand out every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and we pray for our students, we pray for the principals, we pray for the teachers and the social workers. And this morning was the first morning that I made, and it really helped me through my day, going through these claim dockets. Our babies have I call them my babies, because like our Chairman King says, you really don't know until you go into the schools. And you can only go into the schools if you're invited. So I was invited, and situations was brought to me, not by teachers, but just by the children's social emotional movements and, you know, the things that they were saying. And as a community, we're sitting up here arguing over contracts and this, that, and the other. But some of these children have some serious issues. And I'm not talking about feelings. I'm talking about homelessness, hungry. See, you don't know these things unless somebody tell you. And we take it for granted, you know, yes, I want you all to get your raise, but just think, if you couldn't even go buy a loaf of bread, or you don't even know where you're going to go sleep that next night. And I have to commend Central High School. I have to commend the social workers there. They're not going to leave a child at that school until they know that they're placed that night. So as a community, we need to do better because, I mean, sitting up here is one thing, but when you really go into look into someone's household, it's an entirely different story. Not only do they need love, they need food, they need clothing, they need prayer, they just need love. And you would be surprised that some of our top A students are students that you would never think didn't have anything. And these are A++ students. And we just tend to just walk past like nothing's happening. And when I had a chance to get there, it touched my heart. So as a community, and the teachers, don't get me wrong, you all do excellent. You do excellent. But as a community, we need to come together. The library does what they can, but we need to do a little bit more because we don't realize how blessed we are and how less unfortunate they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Smith. Now, we're going to have our public forum. Mr. Harris?
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Public forum is an opportunity for the public to participate in the public meeting. Please step to the podium and state your name. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful of the audience, the board members, and the staff, and refrain from discussing any personnel matters. The first speaker that signed up is Ms. Mahone.
You need a microphone. You want me to bring you this? Need this?
She said everybody knew my voice.
Oh.
But I appreciate you all. You can't hear me. But I just want to say again, I'm really interested in tonight. That has been this whole year, sitting, listening to everyone's voice. I just would hope, and I'm praying that it's going to happen, that we're going to reach this point with the Board of Trustees, because we do trust you. That's what we call trustees. We look for you to make certain things happen. We know that not just Mr. Herb, and Superintendent, he or she would be in charge. That's the first part of this, first one in line, the fire, and all of that, and making sure doing what needs to be done, and bringing that information back to this board, and sharing with the board what he or she think professionally should happen, or based on empirical knowledge, or academic knowledge, whatever, and the board then will respond to that. I want, you guys are going to really start reading what you have in front of you, make a note of it, and sit back and take yourself out of it and put, what's the good in here for our children? What's the good in for our school system as a whole? What's the good in here for our students as a whole? I'm sorry, the community as a whole. That I'm not hearing. I'm hearing a lot of back and forth, but this didn't happen, you didn't do it this way, or this is you said something about the normal way to do it. And y'all got to stop that. Because we got a student body, how many children graduated? You said 250 children? We got that many in the school system? That's good. I mean, if that many actually going to walk off the stage and pick up a diploma.
About 250 at every grade level.
At every grade level?
9, 10, 11, 12.
So a total of 250 students. Okay, now what I'm also looking at, East Chicago, we have a rich history. East Chicago, Washington, Roosevelt, senators, I mean, we need you to bring that joy, put it back into our community. Let us know when our children are excelling. Everybody don't go online, like I said, a lot of kids, of course, don't have internet and all that, parents don't have it as well. So some way, begin to communicate that with us in our community. As a taxpayer, I am most concerned because we do pay the taxes, X amount of dollars, we all know that, and it goes to the school. Have no problem with that. But I don't see a result. I need to see a return on that. And we're not seeing that. We don't see where kids are graduating, going off to college, and I see them coming back to the city of East Chicago to do work. The 2 young students here who I applaud, they said they want to come back and bring their services back to East Chicago once they finish college. That's good. But these are the kind of things I like to see happen And I know the board is capable of doing this, and it's important you to do that. Mr. Raven, as superintendent of school, you have it in your hand that you should have flags run up and down the street. Let the community know, hey, our kids are doing this. We're doing the STEM program, for example. Getting our kids involved in that. I read a lot, I go to other places. Children are involved in the STEM program. It's very important that we do get our children involved. And did you say my time's up?
Yes, you
Yeah, my time.
Your
Was
time is
that
up.
my
Yes,
bill?
you may. Good time. We got a timer now.
Give it, I thank you all. Keep continuing on like you're doing. Excellent job.
The next speaker is Helen Steinbach.
There's 9 days left of school. Helen Steinbach, 5207 East 73rd Avenue in Maryville, Indiana. There's 9 days left of school. You guys had a work session. I don't understand why our non-union personnel is not getting the raise that they deserve. But that's not what my point is for speaking tonight. My reason for speaking tonight is to express our concerns about the changes that may or may not be happening in the near future. When I say our, I'm speaking for so many of our teachers that just don't know what they will be doing next year. Some don't even know if they will be in the same building or the same classroom. This confusion creates an uneasy feeling. It adds even more stress to our already stressful day, and it isn't what's best for our students. That is why it's important to let people know what they will be doing next year and where they will be doing it at. If we are trying to improve our district, creating this instability and this uncertainty is not the way to do it. Where's the plan? What is the expected outcome? And when does the team get the playbook?
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Chairman Gibson King, to that, I want to say, can we make sure we have an executive session at least by next week, so for our prior to our next meeting, so we could make sure to have this stipend or raise, but can we make sure to actually ask the entire board, because we're starting to just ask, certain people. I don't get a secondary date.
I don't know.
None of us does, so when an executive session would be.
I think it's my understanding, Mr. President, do we have something already set up?
We do?
Do we have anything? I think I heard him say something.
The 21st.
When we was in here, something about May the 24th.
Oh, no, that was going to be the meeting that they were going to have, because they weren't going to be here for this meeting, so they were going to cancel this meeting, but you can't do that legally, so that's why.
Okay, so that's what I'm speaking on. That's, I thought that, okay. So you're asking,
For an executive session, just to go over the item that we tabled, so we can make sure to get it on
yeah,
the,
well, Mr. President, he'll be able to put something together for
Sorry,
that. Can you hear me,
I
Mr.
forgot.
President?
Speaking,
Can you hear me? Or
Madam Chair,
asking
we're
for an
sort of
exec-
on the public discussion right now, but I can
Okay.
get with the superintendent.
Yes,
and
that's
definitely
what,
put a fast
okay,
track
now
on
do we have any more people?
Yes, there's one more speaker, and it's
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Gilda Orange.
Okay, one more speaker,
Gilda Orange, 3909 Evergreen. Even though I was sent a letter about speaking, I'm going to be speaking tonight. And Miss Patty Jo,
Yes.
you should be president next year. You did very good, and I'm proud of you. And I'm hoping that you get the 3 votes to make you president for this board. That's number one. Number two, shameful about the 3%. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't anything in the rule book that on your date that you were hired, that's when you were evaluated. Most places, that's where you do it. I mean, that's a simple thing. You get hired on May 15th, you get evaluated on May 15th, and then you know whether you're gonna get a raise. So I'm hoping that gets straightened out, because I've been here for like going on 2 months about the same 3%. And lastly, I had told, 2 things. I had told Attorney Harris that I would be contacting the ACLU because I don't think that you can stop a person from saying a name. You can't, especially an elected official. So I think you guys need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you can and cannot say to an elected official. If I'm not threatening your life, you can't stop me from saying your name. But the ACLU said they will be getting back to me on that, so we will be talking about that in the future. And lastly, I would like to thank, I think it's Dr. Gonzalez at Lincoln. Is Dr. Gonzalez or is it Mrs. Gonzalez? Dr. Gonzalez and the students at Lincoln Elementary. I went in to give Dr. Gonzalez some information, and I was telling her about my dad that is going on Honor Indiana flight May 24th. He's a Korean veteran. My dad's 86 years old. He's always wanted to do that. And upon talking to her, I got a call today telling me that the students at Lincoln Elementary will be writing a letter for my dad in appreciation for him, for them to be taken to Washington, D.C., for him to be presented those letters. So I want to thank, I did get a chance to talk to her, but I was going to tell her while she was here how much I appreciate that, and appreciate the students at Lincoln Elementary. Thank you.
Oh, man, thank you, Mrs. Orange.
Madam Chair, there's no additional speakers.
Okay, now, you asked what, oh, yes, okay, well, yeah. Okay, now the next school board meeting will be June the 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Yes, not the 1st, it's the 5th. And, got that down? Yes, now, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, President Rodriguez. Second by, Mr., oh, do I need a second? Second, do I need a second? I need a second. Second to,
Second.
okay, roll call. That Mrs. Bickham.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Gibson King? President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay.